I want you to think back to your high school gym class. Maybe it was 50 years ago. You are standing in rows on the basketball court, wearing those canvas sneakers. The coach blows a whistle, and everyone spreads their feet wide, sticks their arms out to the sides like an airplane, and starts the count. 1. You bend down and touch your left hand to your right toe. 2. You stand up. 3. You twist and touch your right hand to your left toe. We called it the windmill or the toe touch twist. It was a staple of physical education. It was synonymous with warming up. You probably still see people doing it today in the park or at the gym. Maybe you do it yourself every morning next to your bed to loosen up a stiff back. It feels like the right thing to do. It feels like you are stretching out the cobwebs. But I need you to hear this very clearly: that exercise, that specific movement of bending forward and twisting at the same time, is one of the most dangerous things you can do to a spine that is over 60 years old. You are not loosening up your back, you are slowly grinding your spinal discs into dust. You are inviting a catastrophic injury that could leave you unable to walk without pain for the rest of your life. Today we are going to deconstruct this popular exercise and explain exactly why it is a biomechanical nightmare for the aging body. We are going to look at the anatomy of your spine, specifically the difference between the upper back and the lower back. We are going to discuss the silent epidemic of osteoporosis and how it turns this simple movement into a bone-crushing event. We are going to explore the physics of shear force, which is the enemy of your lower back. And most importantly, because we never take something away without giving something back, I am going to teach you the safe, effective alternatives that will actually give you the flexibility and mobility you want, without risking the structure of your skeleton. By the end of this video, you will never look at the windmill the same way again, and your back will thank you for it every single day. To understand why this move is so destructive, we have to look under the hood. Imagine your spine. It is a stack of bones called vertebrae, and in between each bone is a soft, gel-filled cushion called a disc. Think of these discs like jelly donuts. They have a tough outer casing and a soft, jelly-like center. Their job is to act as shock absorbers. They allow you to bend, to move, and to absorb the impact of walking. When you are 20 years old, those donuts are fresh, plump, and hydrated. The casing is strong and rubbery. You can twist them and bend them, and they bounce right back. But as we age, the chemistry of our body changes. The discs lose water. They become thinner. The jelly inside becomes harder, more like crab meat than jelly. And the outer casing becomes brittle, like an old rubber band that has been left in the sun too long. This is degenerative disc disease, and to some degree, it happens to almost everyone over 60. It is a normal part of aging, just like gray hair. Now, let's look at the mechanics of the windmill. This exercise combines two motions, flexion and rotation. Flexion is bending forward at the waist. Rotation is twisting. When you stand upright, your spine is designed to handle incredible amounts of weight because the bones are stacked directly on top of each other. Gravity pulls straight down, and the stack holds strong. However, when you bend forward, flexion, you are opening up the back of the vertebrae and pinching the front. You are pushing that jelly in the disc backward, toward the spinal cord. That is already a position of vulnerability. But then, you add the twist. When you twist the spine while it is bent forward, you are creating what engineers call shear force. Imagine you are holding a wet towel. If you just bend the towel, nothing happens. But if you wring the towel, twist it while pulling it, the fibers tear. That is exactly what you are doing to the outer casing of your spinal discs during a windmill. You are wringing the towel. For a 60-year-old disc that is already a bit dry and brittle. This wringing motion creates micro-tears in the outer wall. Over time, or sometimes all at once, the wall fails. The jelly shoots out. That is a herniated disc. If that jelly touches the sciatic nerve, which runs right behind the disc, you will feel a pain that has been described as an electric shock shooting down your leg. It can cause numbness, weakness, and agonizing pain that does not go away when you lie down. But the discs are only half the problem. We need to talk about the bones themselves. Osteoporosis and osteopenia are silent conditions. You cannot feel your bones getting thinner. You cannot feel the calcium leaving your skeleton. Millions of Americans over 60 have porous bones and don't know it until they break something. In a healthy spine, the vertebrae are like solid blocks of concrete. In an osteoporotic spine, they are more like a honeycomb or a dried sponge. They are fragile. When you perform the windmill, you are using your arms as giant levers. Think about the physics here. Your torso is heavy. Your arms are heavy. When you swing your arm down to touch your opposite toe, you are generating momentum. You are creating a massive amount of torque, or rotational force, at the base of your spine. This torque puts immense pressure on the front edge of the vertebrae. If those bones are soft, they cannot handle the pressure. They can collapse. This is called a compression fracture. It doesn't always happen in a dramatic fall. It can happen while you are doing your morning exercises. You swing down, you feel a sharp pop, and suddenly you have a wedge-shaped fracture in your spine. This leads to that hunched-over posture, the loss of height, and chronic, nagging back pain that makes it hard to stand up straight. You are literally crushing the front of your own spine by using the leverage of your own arms. It is a self-inflicted injury caused by poor mechanics. There is a widespread myth in the fitness world, especially for seniors, that tightness needs to be stretched out. You wake up, your lower back feels stiff and tight, so your instinct is to stretch it. You do a windmill or you bend over and touch your toes, and for a few seconds, it feels better. It feels like relief. Why? Because you are activating a stretch reflex. You are temporarily numbing the nerve endings by overstretching them. But this is a trap. That feeling of relief is a lie. The reason your back muscles are tight in the first place is usually because they are trying to protect a spine that is unstable. Your brain senses that your spine is weak or that a disc is bulging, so it commands the muscles to clamp down like a splint to prevent you from moving and hurting yourself. Stiffness is often a protective mechanism. When you force a stretch like the windmill, you are tearing down the body's natural defense system. You are stripping away the splint. An hour later, or the next morning, the back will lock up even tighter than before because you have irritated the underlying issue. You are caught in a cycle. It hurts, so you stretch it, so you hurt it more, so it hurts more. We also need to discuss the morning mistake. Many people do these calisthenics first thing in the morning. This is actually the most dangerous time to bend your spine. While you sleep, your discs are hydrophilic, they love water. They soak up fluid from your body while you are horizontal. When you wake up, your discs are actually slightly taller and fuller than they are when you go to bed. They are pressurized, like a balloon that has been blown up to its limit. If you take a fully pressurized balloon and squeeze it and twist it immediately, it is much more likely to pop than a balloon that is a little deflated. It takes about an hour of being upright and walking around for gravity to squeeze some of that excess fluid out and return the discs to their normal operating pressure. Doing the windmill 5 minutes after getting out of bed is playing Russian roulette with your back. Let's look at the anatomy of rotation specifically. Your spine is not one uniform rod. It is divided into sections. The neck, cervical, the upper back, thoracic, and the lower back, lumbar. Each section has a different job. The thoracic spine, the part attached to your ribs, is designed to twist. It has a lot of rotational range. The lumbar spine, the lower back, is not designed to twist. The facet joints in the lower back are shaped in a way that blocks rotation. They are built for stability, to carry the weight of the body. They only allow for about 1 or 2 degrees of rotation per joint. That is tiny. When you do the windmill, you are forcing the lower back to do a job it physically cannot do. You are grinding those facet joints against each other. You are trying to open a door that is locked. The result is arthritis. You wear down the cartilage in those joints, leading to bone-on-bone contact. That is the deep, dull ache you feel across your beltline. So, if the windmill is so bad, why do we see it everywhere? Why do athletes do it? First of all, professional athletes have bodies that are conditioned differently, and even many of them are stopping this move because of the injury risk. But mostly, it is just inertia. It is tradition. We do what we were taught. But we know better now. We have MRIs now. We understand biomechanics better than we did in 1960. We know that the goal of senior fitness should be stability first, mobility second. Now, I can hear you asking, but I need to be able to move. I need to tie my shoes. I need to reach for things. And you are absolutely right. You do need to move. But you need to move correctly. We need to replace the dangerous bend and twist with the safe hinge and turn. We need to dissociate the hips from the spine. Let's talk about the solution. The most important movement pattern you can learn to save your spine is the hip hinge. The windmill teaches you to bend at the waist, curling your spine like a fishing rod. The hip hinge teaches you to keep your spine flat and straight, like a steel beam, and rotate around the ball and socket joint of the hip. Think about a waiter bowing. His back is flat. His head is up. He pushes his hips back. The movement comes from the hip, not the back. Here is the first alternative exercise, the supported waiter's bow. Stand facing a kitchen counter or the back of a sturdy sofa. Place your hands on it. Keep your chest up and your chin tucked. Now, imagine there is a car door behind you and you are trying to close it with your buttocks. Push your hips backward. Let your knees bend slightly. Keep your back perfectly flat. You should feel a stretch in your hamstrings, the back of your legs, but no pain in your back. Go as far as your hamstrings allow, then squeeze your glutes, your butt muscles, to stand back up. This builds the strength to pick things up off the floor without blowing out a disc. You are using the big muscles of the hips to do the work, protecting the small muscles of the spine. The second alternative addresses the need for rotation. We want to rotate the upper back, not the lower back. This is called the seated thoracic rotation. Sit on a chair. Place a small ball or a folded towel between your knees and squeeze it. This is the secret sauce. By squeezing your knees together, you lock your hips and your lower back in place. They can't move. Now, cross your arms over your chest. Take a deep breath in to get tall. As you exhale, gently twist your shoulders to the right. Go only as far as your upper back allows. Do not force it. Inhale back to center. Exhale and twist to the left. You will feel a pleasant stretch in the middle of your back, between your shoulder blades. This is where you want to be loose. This mobilizes the stiff ribcage area, which helps your breathing and your posture, but it keeps the dangerous shear force away from your lower back. The third alternative is for core stability, which acts as a corset to protect your spine. It is called the bird dog, but we will modify it for seniors. You can do this on your hands and knees on a soft carpet, or even standing leaning against a counter. If you are on the floor, get on all fours. Keep your back flat like a table. Imagine you are balancing a glass of water on your lower back. Extend one arm forward and the opposite leg backward. Reach long, not high. Do not let your back arch or sag. Do not let the water glass spill. Hold for a count of 3. Switch sides. This exercise teaches your brain how to move your arms and legs while keeping your spine essentially motionless and stable. That is the holy grail of back health. We need to translate this to real life, because the danger of the windmill is that it trains you to move poorly in the real world. Think about how you unload the dishwasher. You reach down, flexion, and you twist to put the plate in the cupboard, rotation. That is a windmill with a load. That is how people throw out their backs. Think about gardening. You bend over to pull a weed and twist to throw it in the bucket. Windmill. Think about golf. The golf swing is a high-velocity windmill. If you play golf, you need to be extra careful to warm up your hips and upper back, because you are asking your body to do a very demanding rotational movement. The new rule for your daily life is, nose between toes. This is a simple mantra to remember. Wherever your nose is pointing, your toes should be pointing. If you need to pick something up on your right, do not twist your waist to get it. Pick up your feet, turn your whole body, face the object squarely, and then hinge at the hips to get it. Pivot your feet. It takes one extra second, but it saves your spine. Turn your whole body as a unit, like a tank turret. Do not twist the turret while the tank is stationary. Let's address the psychological aspect of no pain, no gain. This slogan has done more damage to the 60-plus population than almost anything else. Pain is not gain. Pain is a warning light. It is your check engine light. If you are doing an exercise and it hurts your joints, stop immediately. Discomfort in a muscle, that burning feeling of a muscle working, is okay. Sharp, shooting, or grinding pain in a joint is never okay. You need to become an expert listener to your own body. If you finish a set of windmills and you feel a dull ache in your lower back for the next 2 hours, do not ignore it. That is inflammation. That is your body telling you that you went too far. We also have to talk about range of motion. We tend to idolize people who can fold themselves in half. But is that necessary? Do you need to be able to touch your nose to your knee to live a happy, healthy life? No. You need enough range of motion to put on your socks, to get in and out of a car, and to walk upright. Excessive flexibility without strength is actually a liability. Floppy joints are unstable joints. As we age, we want to cultivate stiffness in the right places, stiffness in the core to protect the spine, and mobility in the right places, hips and shoulders. The windmill makes the wrong part loose. It makes the lumbar spine loose, which makes it unstable. If you have already done damage, if you have that sciatica or that chronic ache, is it too late? Absolutely not. The body is amazing. The spine can stabilize. But you have to stop picking the scab. Every time you do a rotational twist under load, you are picking the scab of your injury. You are not letting it heal. By stopping the windmill today, you are removing the daily insult to the tissue. You are giving the inflammation a chance to subside. You are giving the nerves a chance to calm down. Many people find that simply stopping this one bad habit reduces their back pain by 50% within a few weeks. It is addition by subtraction. Let's visualize the eggshell analogy. Imagine your vertebrae are made of eggshells. If you stack eggshells carefully and put a book on top, they might hold. But if you twist the stack, they crumble. That is osteoporosis. Now, not everyone has it this bad, but you don't know if you do until it is too late. A DXA scan gives you a score, but it doesn't tell you the quality of the bone architecture. Assume your bones deserve respect. Treat them like precious porcelain, not like steel girders. They are strong in compression, weak in torsion. What about other rotational exercises? Are they all bad? No. Rotation is a fundamental human movement. But it must be unloaded or controlled. Cable chops, where you stand and pull a cable across your body, can be safe if you pivot your feet. See the difference? If the feet pivot, the hips turn, and the spine stays relatively neutral. It is when the feet are planted in concrete, like in the windmill, that the spine is forced to take all the torque. The Russian twist, where you sit on the floor and twist a medicine ball from side to side, is another one I would banish from your routine. It is high load, high repetition, and high risk for the lumbar discs. I want you to think about your movement account. You only have so many bad reps in your spine before something gives. Maybe you have done the windmill for 40 years and you are fine. You are lucky. But your account is running low. Why spend your remaining balance on an exercise that provides zero benefit that you can't get from a safer move? It is poor risk management. The risk is a wheelchair, the reward is, what? Touching your toes. It is not a fair trade. Let's recap the safe spine strategy for your morning routine. Warm up with walking. Get the blood flowing and the fluid moving in the discs before you do anything else. Mobilize the hips. Do leg swings or gentle lunges. Get the ball and socket joints greasy. Mobilize the thoracic spine. Do the seated twists or the open book stretch lying on your side. Stabilize the core. Do a plank or a bird dog or a dead bug exercise. Turn on the corset muscles. Hinge. Practice the waiter's bow. This routine takes 10 minutes. It wakes up your body. It prepares you for the day. And it puts zero harmful shear force on your lower back. You will feel lighter, taller, and more capable. I know it is hard to change. We are creatures of habit. We love our routines. But think of this change as an upgrade. You are upgrading your software to match your hardware. You are driving a vintage car now, a classic. You don't drive a classic car off-road. You treat it with care. You drive it smoothly. You maintain it so it lasts forever. Your body is that classic car. If you go to a yoga class or a fitness class and the instructor tells you to do the windmill, or the triangle pose, which is similar, be brave enough to modify. You don't have to follow the herd. Bend your knees. Don't go down as far. Don't force the twist. Or simply stand there and breathe until the next exercise. You are the CEO of your own body. You make the executive decisions. Do not let an instructor who is 25 years old and made of rubber dictate the safety of your 60-plus spine. Remember, the goal is longevity. Longevity means keeping your parts in working order. The spine is the chassis of your life. Everything hangs off it. If the chassis cracks, the ride is over. Protect it. Cherish it. And please, for the love of your future self, stop doing the windmill. Start engaging in the anti-rotation lifestyle. This means resisting rotation. When you carry a heavy grocery bag in one hand, your body wants to twist and bend. Resisting that, staying tall and straight, is a workout. That is a functional core workout. When you open a heavy door, brace your core and don't let your spine twist. These are the hidden exercises in daily life that build a bulletproof back. I want you to try the waiter's bow today. Just try 5 reps, feel how different it is. Feel the tension in your legs, not your back. That is the feeling of health. That is the feeling of using your body the way it was designed by nature. Thank you for listening. This information is serious, but it is also empowering. You have the power to stop the damage. You have the knowledge to move better. Take this knowledge into your day, into your garden, into your gym. Share it with your friends who are still swinging away at their toes. You might just save someone from a surgery they don't need. Keep moving, but move smart. Stay strong, stay stable, and keep that spine safe.